Hey everybody, I am back, refreshed of course. Hey Miss Lady, I am back refreshed and ready to bring you some more of my tips on building a next level company, empire, business, whatever you want to call it. Now, a lot of you know I've been around in the game a long time. I've been building businesses and helping businesses grow and doing my thing for over 20 years. So I'm not just some flash in the pan, and I'm not just coming with some sound bites that people use to build a business. I know what it takes to build a company, and I want to help you guys build companies too. Now, before I get started, I have 10 tips that I follow, that I've always followed. Well, not always. Sometimes I kind of veered off the path. But the 10 tried and true methods that I've used that help me build a next level company. But before I get started, here is the next thing. You know, guys know I like to bring you reading material and things like that. This is actually, I bought the CDs, but this is comes in book form and it also comes in audio. It's called The Maui Millionaire by David Finkel and Diane Kennedy. The reason I want you guys to read this, not about becoming a millionaire or to become wealthy, which that is the goal when you run a business, when you run an empire, when you grow a company, you are to become wealthy. But I believe that David Finkel and Diane Kennedy really nail it on this book about teaching you the mindset of moving from different levels of business. A level 1 business, which is usually startups, level 2, which is you're functioning, but you still need to be involved, and then level 3, which everybody wants to get to, where you are running the show without being hands-on. That's a level 3 company. That's what we all strive to be, and that's why I help my companies, my business clients, their companies get to level 3. So let's get started. I wrote my tips down. So number 1 is establish the foundation of your company. If you've listened to me for any length of time, or if you visited my website, or if you read any of my writing, you know I always talk about doing the business foundations. Hi Laura G. Mays, thank you for joining. The business foundations, aside from the standard structure, corporation, incorporation, LLC, whatever, all of those things are given. The foundations I'm talking about is deciding what kind of team you want and building that team to reflect the culture of your company. You're welcome. Figuring out what your company, what your unit is, what is it, what is your purpose, what is your why, what is your method, how you operate, getting your operations intact, distribution, how do you have your different distribution channels, how do you reach your target market, how do you establish your brand. All of that stuff needs to be set. Technology, because we all know that without technology, a lot of businesses wouldn't succeed. But all of these things are the foundation that you need to have for your business. And also a really, really good customer service experience. Hi, Dr. F. Richards. Thanks for joining. So establish the foundations, the roots, if you will, of your company before you move any further. Once you've done that, you move on to tip number 2. Recruit and train a top-notch team. Hi, Grant Hudgens. Thanks for joining. A top-notch team. Now, as a small business, you may think, I cannot. Oh, thank you, freelance to you. I try. As a small business, you may think that recruiting and training is something that's out of your reach right now, but it's not. What did I tell you guys the other day? Always have a workforce plan in place. Once you put your workforce plan in place, then you have a blueprint, a map, if you will, of what you want your company to look like. Who are those people that are going to come work with you? What are they doing? What are their skill sets? How do they rise through the ranks through your company? How do they contribute to your bottom line? Welcome from Vegas. I can't wait to get back to Vegas. That's one of my favorite cities, and I'm going to come hopefully before the end of this year. So thanks for tuning in. You can think about recruiting and training your team. When I talk about training, the other day I mentioned you guys need to have every single process documented, whether it's how to answer email, your customer service, how to escalate a problem with the customer, how to market to your clients, how to build your website, what your website should do. Everything that has to do with your business functioning needs to be documented. Even answering the phone. I have a system for answering phones and answering email and all of that. But all of that needs to be documented. So you too, I'll be there too. I'll let you guys know. Maybe we need to do a meetup in Vegas. But every training system you have in place should be something that a new employee can step in seamlessly and pick it up. I would say learning curves are different for people. So on the average, I would implore you to have a 1 week minimum training. Some people may need more. If you have a certain process or a service that you need to really educate your new employees on, then yeah, a little bit longer, but no more than a week. So recruit and train your top-notch team, because guess what? As a CEO, here's my directive to you. Within 18 to 24 months after your business is where it's supposed to be, 18 to 24 months after that, you should be planning your exit. And by exit, I don't mean quitting the company. I mean finding and hiring a very strong CEO, or at most a COO. And we talked about the difference between the two in one of my other episodes. But yeah, but you have to make sure that you are thinking ahead and worrying about who you're going to hire, why you're going to hire them, at what pace you're going to hire, and how well they're trained. That helped me tremendously, making sure that my business was intact. Tip number 3, surround yourself with people who are at a higher level than you currently are. Which means, it's not to be rude. I mean, you guys know I keep it straight and real and to the point, straight with no chaser. If you've been in business for 5 years and you're generating revenue, and even if you're kind of having a problem being profitable, being around a bunch of startups is not where you need to be. You need to be around those multi-million-dollar companies that are generating revenue, that have their streamlined processes in place, and are killing it. Those are the people you need to be around. You can do no good for yourself hanging out with startups at that phase. Now, when you're a startup, everybody's on the same level. But as you grow and scale and advance, you have to move away from that pack and leave that alone, because that's not where you are. And if you stay there, if you stay there, you're going to be sucked into that mentality of a startup, and you're never going to push yourself to move further. So please make sure you're finding people who are above you. One of my mentors I told you guys about, she owns a WNBA team, Seattle Storm. Jenny Gilder is one of my dear friends and my mentor. She claims that she's not a mentor to me, that we are equal and that she learns as much as I do from her, but she's at a higher level than me. I mean, she's running an investment fund. She's running an WNBA team. I'm not balling like that yet. One day I will be. But that's what I mean by an example of hanging out with people that are above your level, because you have so much to learn. And here's a side tip to that. Be humble in the experience. Be humble when you're around them, because they're sharing their expertise with you, and they're sharing their trials and tribulations. At least that's how it worked for me when I hang out with people that I hang out with. So be open and be receptive. Never be a know-it-all, and never be, I hate to use that word because Jay Stone just used it, and I don't want her to think I stole that from her. But never act like you know everything. Always humble yourself and be ready to learn. So tip number 4 is build power relationships. And by that, I don't mean just going on LinkedIn and finding people, although that would be the first place I would send you guys, is LinkedIn. A lot of people don't realize the treasure trove that LinkedIn is. It is awesome, especially if you have business services that you offer, or if you have higher level services that you offer. That's where you need to be. If we're going to pick any social media, Periscope is great, Twitter is great, Facebook is great. LinkedIn is where you need to be, because that is where you kick up the level of excellence. That is where you pull up the level of networking. So what I tell people is power attracts power. So first, you have to be confident in yourself before you can build these relationships. And second, you have to be active and there, available in these relationships. Now, there's some people that I don't speak to maybe but once a year, but I know that if I run into a problem, or if I have an issue that comes up, or if I have a pressing question, I can pick up a phone at any time. I don't have to make niceties. I don't have to make excuses. Oh, hey, how you doing? Whatever. Yeah, we get to know each other on that level, so that I can say, hey, listen, I have a problem. I need you to walk me through this. After we've done that, it's, so how are the kids doing? So what's going on with you? What's new? We always keep some personal in it, but we hit business straight up. That is what power relationships do. It's so loud out here. So make sure that you're connecting your connections as well. A lot of people who know me know that if I don't know the problem, if I don't know the solution to the problem, I know someone who does. And I have no qualms with introducing and connecting people that I know. It's paying it forward. I don't ask for anything in return, because that builds up your karma bank. As you're making these connections and you're helping other people succeed, other people reach back to you. Now, Caveat to that, if you read my No You Can't Pick My Brain, either the article or the book, you know that some people take. Those are not the relationships I'm talking about. I'm talking about true power relationships where there's give and take, equal respect, mutual respect, and they're on a level where I get by, you get by. I go up, you go up. I come up, you come up. That's the kind of relationships that I'm talking about. And they can be had. Put your ego to the side and make sure that you humble yourself and you build these relationships and you keep them active. I don't want to talk to somebody I haven't talked to in 5 years and all of a sudden needs a favor. So make sure that you are keeping in touch and you're keeping these relationships fresh. So what are we at now? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're to tip number 5. Decide what you want to invest in. And that can mean many things. Monetarily, as you all know, my goal is to become an angel investor for 2016 and start investing in startups. But also you have to know what to invest in for your company. What do you want to do to increase the level of your company? What kind of improvements do you want to make? Where are you going to put your money? Is it on professional development for yourself? Is it on professional development for your team? Is it for new technology so that you can streamline your processes? Is it for bringing in new staff? Is it for putting together a great marketing and branding campaign? Decide where you want to invest your money in your business, but make the decision to invest. That is the problem. We cannot, as small businesses, expect to grow and skyrocket our businesses, and we're not investing anything. So know where you want to invest your money for your business and your time. Know where you want to invest your time. I don't invest my time in local networking meetings anymore. I do more one-on-one because that's how we do. And then if there's a need, we all come together. But a lot of the local networking groups that are out there, and this is not a dig on them, so please don't send me hate mail. They are a lot of newbies coming in with business cards, introducing themselves, but they don't know how to take it beyond that. I'm talking about know where to invest your time as far as the return on your investment. If you're not getting a lead, if you're not getting connection, a power connection from attending an event, do not attend it. So, but I'll leave it to your discretion. You know what works for your industry. So decide what you want to invest in. But I would map it out so that I know over the long term what I'm investing in. And the things that are not producing a good return, axe it, cut it, get rid of it immediately. Tip number 6, establish a board. Now, people say board of advisors, board of directors, some use them interchangeably. Here's what I say. You need to pick a minimum of 5 people that you know, that you like, that you trust, that are not your friends, because your friends are yes people. I don't care if your friend from kindergarten keeps it real all the time and she can tell you if your shoes look wrong or if you have the wrong dress on. I'm talking about people who are experienced in their fields, who have been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the mug, and can properly advise and guide you in important decisions, because that's what you're going to go to your board for really important decisions. I don't make a move without talking to my board. Now, the ultimate decision rests on me, and I'm the one that needs to make the decision and pull the switch on things, but I always consult my board because they have my back. They understand the value that I bring. They understand the mission of my company. They understand what I do, and they understand why I do it. That is why you have to pick people. I would say if you had to pick your 5, someone from the legal profession, someone from the HR background, someone from a finance and accounting background, someone from a marketing background, and then let's see, a technology, I would say, hands down. Those are your 5. I mean, of course, you can do more. Always have an odd number of members, because if there's a tie, you can't be the deciding vote. So always have an odd number of members. I choose minimum of 5, and you switch them up every year or every maybe 18 months. Hi, Black Girl Tech. Or you switch them up every 2 years. So I leave that at your discretion. Oh, one more thing about boards. You should be thinking of some way to compensate them. Hey, some way to compensate them, whether that's monetarily, whether that's stocks, and we'll talk about stocks and shares in your business another time. That's another next level that we talk about. But some kind of remuneration, even if it's paying for them to all come fly into one spot and take care of their travel and hotel, their food, you know, giving them a $500 stipend or whatever it is. Think of something that you can do to pay back your board. People are so rude driving by here. So the next tip is, where we at, number 7, focus on growing your offerings and your markets. Think outside of your comfort zone, that little box that you put yourself in, where you say, nope, I'm only going to service people in the Southeast and of this income bracket. Now that's good in the beginning when you're targeting your people, when you're building your ideal avatar. If you go to my podcast, if you look on Twitter or Facebook or any of my social media sites, or even on my website on the blog, empowerme.org/blog, today I released a podcast about upping your sales game, and we talked a little bit about that in there. But for the purposes of this, I want you to think outside of your comfort zone. Once you nail your niches, and you could have more than one, once you nail it and you have that process down pat, then I want you to start thinking more. Look at, now this may be a lofty example, look at Richard Branson. If he had just stuck with a magazine or a record company, he wouldn't be Richard Branson. No, he has mobile service, he has an airline, he has a magazine, he has all kind of space thing he's doing there. I mean, I don't know. I lose track of what he's doing. But look into other things. Look at Sarah Blakely. She's another example, a billionaire, one of my role models. She started out with the Spanx. Now she's moving into activewear. So she's gotten her market down pat, and she's killing it in the Spanx category, in the support wear category. But she's moving into other categories. You can do the same thing. Think about complementary services that fit well with your company, with your clients, with what you currently offer. Don't keep yourself boxed in, because when you keep yourself boxed in, you become a one-trick pony, and we don't want that. Even McDonald's has more than one thing on the menu, so make sure you're diversifying and you're stepping out. And another note about that, exploring new markets, ladies and gentlemen that are watching, when I tell you that now is a prime time to go global and go international, first of all, the barriers have been lowered a little bit, because I don't care what anyone says. Yes, the internet makes it easy for you to go global, but remember, each country have their own customs and limitations. So you have to be up on your international law, and you have to be up on international customs. But don't be afraid. There's a lot of expansion going on out there. Don't limit yourself just to the United States and Canada and Mexico. There's a big old world out there. Explore other markets. Get out there. Get comfortable learning the markets. And here's the tip for you. If you're not comfortable, if you don't have anybody that can go scout for you, and if you can't do it, partner with someone in the country that you want to go into. Very simple. I'm telling you, my clients do it all the time, and their minds are boggled. It's like, why didn't I think of this before? So don't discount international. I know we have a lot of turmoil going on in different areas, but there are a lot of areas that are up and coming. The continent of Africa is amazing. My friend Amos Wimbush is getting a deal together for mobile and technology services in Africa. And it's just, he could have stayed in New York. He could have stayed here and been a celebrity here in the United States. But no, he's forward thinking. He's already looking at, beyond what he's working on. And check out his website, Cybersyncs, SYNCHS.com. And you'll see who he is and see what I'm talking about. But that's what I'm saying. Get out there, explore. There's a big world out there. So tip the next one, I don't know. Be willing to do what others won't. That means taking risks. And I know that we like to play it safe. And for those of you who have very small businesses who are maybe working from home, or this is your only means of support for your children or your family, I get it. I understand. When I started, I had a little one. I had a toddler. And he's 24 now. But it was hard. But I jumped out there and took risks. You know what? It scared me. It scared the hell out of me. I'm not going to lie. But I had to learn to do it and break out of that comfort zone. You have to take the risk that other people won't. Take on those high stakes projects. I see people who turn down work not because they don't think they can do it, but because they know they can do it and are afraid of what the expectations would be if they succeed. Think about if you remove all of those barriers from you and you just go for it. And take the risk and go for it. This is your business. This is your baby. This is what you want it to be. You can be afraid. Don't be paralyzed by the fear. Jump out there, take the risk, and do the things people want. Get up at 5 a.m. to go network when other people are still sleeping. Be up at midnight to take an international call where it's already morning where they are and everyone else is sleeping. Do the things that other people won't do because they feel it's too uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable, because guess what? Outside that comfort zone is where you start making money. I'm a witness. So tip number 9, I think we're on 9. Guard your brand religiously. It is important that you only align yourself with certain things. There are certain celebrities out there that will say, I won't promote or endorse any old product. They have to have some kind of meaning. It has to click. It has to really fit for them and their brand in order for them to endorse it. Well, the same thing with your brand. Don't partner with anyone who you don't feel will bring value to your clients, your audience, your target, your company, to you, and vice versa. Don't partner with someone if you know you can't hold up your end and you can't bring value to them. Guard that brand religiously, because guess what? Brands are made and broken like that these days, and especially with the internet. So I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to say any names, but I'm going to tell you what this was. This was a couple of years ago, and there was a celebrity, a reality star celebrity, 2 reality star celebrities who were just hot, ratchet messes. It was embarrassing to women and embarrassing to black women. No, it's not Housewives of Atlanta. I'm not going to tell you who it is. But there was an event, and I was asked to speak at this event and present. And they didn't tell me that these 2 people were going to be at this event until way after I had accepted. I signed on to do it and was getting ready to promote it. And lo and behold, I found out a friend of mine sent me an email and said, did you see this? Or is this where you're going to be talking? And I looked at it, I said, oh, hell no. And it was one of those things where I called them and I said, listen, I have a brand and integrity to maintain. This is not the kind of environment I want my brand associated with. And I said no, and I backed out, and they understood. They were in the wrong because they should have told me up front who was headlining. That's all I'm going to say on that one. But guard and protect your brand at all costs. Don't let anyone come in and damage or attempt to damage your credibility or your reputation or that of your company. And then my final tip, and this one works for me and it works for everybody that I know that's successful and uber rich and all of that good stuff. Create opportunities. Now we think about creating opportunities for ourselves, and yeah, we have to go for the gusto, go for the brass ring and everything, and blue. That's peachy keen. But are you creating opportunities for other people? That's the key. You have to create opportunities for other people. I'm not just talking about jobs. Yeah, because as a company, as you grow, you're going to create jobs. What I'm talking about is getting around people who have high potential and maybe don't have the same access that you have. People who are serious about their craft, who are talented, who are humble, who are coachable. People who want to do better and do something of value for the world. Create opportunities for them. When I started my radio show about, 6 years ago it was? Thanks for the hearts. But 6 years ago, it was not about getting the high-powered celebrities on. Okay, yeah, well, I had people like Barbara Corcoran on my show and things like that. And she was very gracious, very humble. But what I made the conscious decision was I didn't want to go after the people that were already in the media. I wanted to go after that everyday entrepreneur, small business owner, who doesn't get that shine but are doing incredible things and have a story to tell. That was my way of giving them a platform and helping them and being there and guiding them and letting them use my platform to get ahead. Another instance, let's see, there was a company, and I won't say who it is, and I'm glad we did it, but it only lasted about 2 years. This was about maybe 10 years ago, I think it was. A company that was on the up and coming up, on the come up, and they were a background check company. And part of my recruiting is background checks, and I wasn't thinking of outsourcing that at the time. But I love the spunk of them. I love their forward-thinking vision and the things that they had planned for this company. And I decided to give them a chance. So I gave them a chance. I partnered with them. I made some introductions for them, and their company took off. You're able to connect offline for 15 minutes. Are you able to connect offline for 15 minutes? Oh, am I able to? Yeah. I have, 152 now? I have a